Well, I have a problem today. I shouldn't level with you. I shouldn't come clean so much with you folks. See, I created a sermon that was about refugees and immigrants and death squads, and this morning about 5:30, I just thought, I just don't want to talk about that anymore. Any of you with me? Do you really want to hear all that? No, you don't, so not today. We'll save that for another week. So I have two quick little stories for you. These are actual conversations that happened recently. Not only are they true, but they actually happened, just as I'm going to tell them to. Oh, I'm with you on that, yes. So I have a friend who's a nurse practitioner down in Cincinnati, and we get on the phone every once in a while. You know, we have coffee and we chat for an hour and a half, because we don't know what else to do with ourselves. She was telling me that something that happened when her kids were little. She has 4 children, and when her third child, a little boy, Bobby, when he was 3 years old, this is what started happening. Diane has a nativity set that she got from her father, and she would set it out every Christmas, before the children would hang out. But what started happening was when Bobby was about 3 years old, the baby Jesus was not attached to the manger. And Bobby would take the baby Jesus and hide it somewhere in the house. And so for several years in a row, they had to go, when they got up Christmas morning, we got to go find the baby Jesus. This is just how she's telling it to me. Well, one Christmas, they found baby Jesus in the cushions of the couch. You sit down on the couch, and there's Jesus' head just sitting there, There he is. One year, they found the baby Jesus stuck between some pots and pans in the kitchen in the cupboard. The last year that they had to do this, they found the baby Jesus in Bobby's hand while he was still asleep in bed. And then Diane said this. She says, it's kind of strange, we had to always go looking for baby Jesus. But Jesus was hidden in plain sight all along. Jesus has been hidden in plain sight all along. That's pretty good, isn't it? I told Diane, I said, you're going to make the sermon on the Sunday after Christmas. She said, well, are you going to pay me for that? I'll send you a cut. Are you still with me? If you've left the room, come back, because here's the last little bit. It's very short. So Saturday morning, I was having coffee with a friend in Propaganda. I want to give them an advertisement for Propaganda in Lakewood. It's right across from the Beck Center. It's a lovely little coffee shop. Their title is Propaganda, Coffee Without Villainy. It's cool. It's a bunch of young people running this place. Well, my friend and I were sitting there. We're just going to call him Brent for today. We sit often together about once a week, and he says, this time of year, he says, I live in my head, and I'm filled with so much anxiety. My mind is going all the time. I don't even know, most days I can't even stop it. My mind is just going, full of this anxiousness. And then he looked at me, he says, but something strange happens this time of year. He says, around Christmas time, for some reason, I kind of come out of my head and I notice a physical sensation. It's down here in my chest, and I just feel hope. I don't even know why. He says, I'm not a hopeful person, but for some reason, I just have this sense of hope and love here in my body. Any of you have an experience like that? There's lots of lack of hope and other crazy things that are going on. And the truth is I've been trying to not inflict lots of my anger and frustration on top of you on Sunday sermons. I don't know how successful I'm being. But I looked at him and I just said, my God, Brent, I just love you for telling me that. And I said, I think it's going to make Sunday sermon tomorrow. Yes, do I get a cut? Can you buy the coffee the next time? All I got to say is this. Maybe in the couch cushions or between the pots and pans or maybe in one of the grandkids' hand sleeping, maybe you'll find Jesus hiding in plain sight. And somehow, in the wee hours of the morning, even before the sun comes up, may you have that gentle experience of hope and love blossom in your hearts and minds. Yeah, that'll do for a sermon for today. Say with me, amen. What's next?